Aaron Rodgers, 2-year stint with the Jets that he'll never want to remember when he goes into the Hall of Fame. He'll just say, please don't mention that. Now he's with Pittsburgh, and he had his best game since Green Bay. Threw 5 touchdowns. Is it 5, right? Am I right about that, Sam? I don't want to screw this up, too. 4 touchdown passes. Yeah, I'm screwed up again. 4 touchdown passes against the New York Jets. Buy or sell, Aaron Rodgers will finish the season as a QB1 in a 12-team league, top 12 fantasy quarterback. Buy or sell.
You know, the cop-out here is he stays healthy, yes, right? He'll do it. It's not asking a lot, top 12. Purdy's already not going to be top 12, right? He's already going to miss this week, probably another week, maybe as much as 5, they've said. So you knock him out there. There'll be other quarterbacks that get hurt, so you knock them out. I don't think he'd ever get top 5, top 6, top 8. But the 9 to 12, I hate to say it, he wasn't bad last year with the Jets, right? They didn't win games, but he wasn't bad. He had it when he played. He was a good, solid quarterback. You know, he can still sling it. He still can. I'm the first to admit those 4 touchdowns. It wasn't like he had a monster game. A couple of his interceptions were dropped. You know, that should have been picked off there. It seems like he did complete work for touchdowns. A couple of breakdowns by the Jets as well. So I don't see him really as going to win a league for you. But I'm going to buy this. If he stays healthy, hell, just give me 15 games. And I think he can be top 12. So I'll buy this.
I'm going to sell it. Yeah. I mean, games against the Browns and games against the Ravens. And look, I don't know if the Jets defense is as bad as they've showed. If it is, then this may be his best game of the season. So, yeah, I'm going to sell. I think he's on the outside of this looking in.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. Good morning, happy Friday to you. We are all pumped up here. My main man Tyrone A. Johnson is chilling. He's got picks a little bit later on, and he's hotter than a pistol right now with his NFL picks. Last night, of course, Week 3 got started in the NFL, and we can finally say, I believe, that the experiment is over. It is complete. We have the results. Whoever thought, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that Tua turned the ball over was going to be a great NFL quarterback, a quarterback worth not just one contract, but then a huge $212 million contract extension, should be fired on the spot. Absolutely fired on the spot, because last night, I give the Dolphins credit, and I give Mike McDaniel credit. The Dolphins were prepared to play football last night. They traded touchdowns. We score, you score, you score, we score. Close game, tie game, late into the second half. And then the Bills take the lead. Tua, pop, bringing the Dolphins right down the field. Oh, we're going to have a tie game. It's Josh Allen going to work his magic. Never needed it. Why? Because Tua, with the game on the line, threw the football directly into the chest of a defensive player on the Buffalo Bills, and that ended the game. And it should end, for once and for all, the notion that Tua is a legitimate franchise quarterback. It should end the notion that Tua is a top 10 quarterback, a top 15 quarterback, a top 20 quarterback, because he's not. And as much as I get great joy out of it as a Jet fan, and my battles with Dolphin fans, which are historic, frankly, Tyrone, there's this little sliver of me. Perhaps it's age, I don't know. I cry at commercials now. I cry at certain TikTok videos.
Oh, no.
Tears rolling down my face when military people come home and surprise their families. I can't get enough of it. I didn't know I had tears in reserve inside my body. I was a heathen for so many years. But alas, I now have emotion. It's like an awakening. It's like I'm Lazarus. I have seen the light. Hallelujah. Praise God.
This is weird.
And there's now I'm not going to steal hard-fought hallelujah from Brandon Lake like my man Jelly Roll did, but I am going to praise the Lord above, because I have some sensitivity. I've got a little bit in it. All of a sudden, I feel like a normal person. I have feelings. I have emotions. And there's a teeny little sliver of me, a teeny one, that actually feels bad for Dolphins fans. Not a big piece of me, but a teeny little piece of me.
Little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Because last night, like, I'm a Jet fan, and I don't gamble, so rooting interest, there was none.
Just watch him.
Yeah, the rooting interest was, I love football. I'm going to watch NFL football, and I'm going to see a dude right now. And I think you have to appreciate this before you get back to the Dolphin side of things. There's a dude right now in his prime playing badass football, and it's Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Allen is him. I know that's the street vernacular for a badass, but he is him right now. And by the way, the stats aren't gaudy. And they haven't been, outside of the week one, the comeback against the Baltimore Ravens, where he dropped the 40-burger and was the last 5 minutes of the game was just stupid and hitting everybody all over the field. But it's funny when you watch Josh Allen and the Bills play. Like, if you're a Dolphin fan and you wake up today, you're miserable. You're 0-3. Only 4 teams in the modern era of football have ever gone from 0-3 and made the playoffs. They're not going to be the 5th. And none of those teams have ever won a Super Bowl. So a lot of teams that are sitting in 0-2 right now are facing the reality, if we lose this weekend, our season's a wrap from a standpoint of winning a Super Bowl. And we'll get into that more a little bit later on in the show. But what's frustrating for a lot of us, for Dolphins fans for sure, for me as a Jet fan, you've experienced this many years ago, but not in the moment with Jalen Hurts.
I had Carson Wentz.
Yeah, right. And although he was having an MVP season until he got hurt that one year.
Yeah.
But we've all at some level experienced this. When you watch your team play, and then you watch a really good, competent, high-level team play, it's a different sport. And when you watch the Bills, and they're not perfect by any stretch. I'm not a huge McDermott guy, but I give him his flowers. The guy, wins the division every single year and is going to be the all-time winningest coach when it's all said and done in Bills history, passing Marv Levy at some point. But when I watched the Bills last night, 2 things came to mind. Number one, they're never out of a game.
Ever.
Because they got that dude playing quarterback, right?
Yep.
And that's frustrating for me, considering I have not had a quarterback since Joe Namath. And as much as I love Joe Namath and know Joe Namath is the most overrated quarterback in the history of the NFL. Belongs in the Hall of Fame because of the merger and winning the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
And because he does. Like, you could argue his stats don't belong there. Joe Namath belongs in the Hall of Fame. Not an argument worth having. But the Jets as a franchise have never had consecutive or 3 or 4 or 5 years in a row of high-level, legitimate Hall of Fame type quarterback play. We've never had it. We're one of the few teams, the Chicago Bears are with us, where we've never had that level of quarterback play really since our team's inception, right? And yet when you watch the Bills last night, I'm watching it going, son of a bitch, because I'm going to have to deal with this for a minimum 7 more years, minimum. Maybe another decade.
Yeah.
And the Buffalo Bills play a different sport than what the Dolphins play. But I think we can finally put a lid on the can of, is Tua a franchise quarterback?
You're absolutely right. And then just to add, I don't want to add, salt to the wound, but Jalen Hurts, for example, his cap number this year, about $22 million.
Okay, reasonable.
Josh Allen's cap number this year, about $36 million.
Okay.
Tua's cap number this year?
Let me guess. If Josh Allen's is what?
$36 million.
Which is a little high, but okay, fair enough.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say that Tua's cap number this year, $40 million.
Close, $39.1 million. He's more expensive than both Jalen Hurts, who wins all the time, and Josh Allen that wins all the time, and that adds to it in addition to...
Which also brings up the other point about the Dolphins. You've got a general manager there in Chris Greer, who's now in his 10th year as general manager for the Dolphins, and he's the guy that thought... By the way, they drafted Tua over Justin Herbert. So when you look back at bad decision-making, it starts at the top.
It does.
It starts with your general manager, Chris Greer. And last night, the Dolphins season came to an end. 0-3 teams have only made the playoffs 4 times, and that goes back to 1990. So you're talking about a 35-year span of time. It's only happened 4 times, and none of them have ever won a Super Bowl. So here you are. We're still in the month of September.
Yep.
We haven't gotten to Columbus Day yet, and I'm a big Columbus guy. Stop all the Columbus hate, please. Big Columbus guy.
I love the West Indies.
Big Columbus guy.
West Indies.
We haven't gotten to Halloween. Big Halloween guy.
Love Halloween.
Big Halloween guy.
It's great.
Haven't gotten to Thanksgiving yet. Big Turkey Day guy. Big Turkey Day guy.
Yeah.
Haven't even gotten to Rosh Hashanah. That's next week. Big Rosh Hashanah guy. Big celebrating guy. Big.
Big.
And the Dolphin season has come to an end. The problem now, I will get to this throughout the show today, is when you take a look at the other 0-2 teams, because they're in the same boat. You go to 0-3, you don't win Super Bowls. You rarely ever in 35 years, only 4 teams have ever made the postseason.
Yeah, it's tough.
All right, there are 2 division winners, 2 wild card winners that have gotten in. So you see right there on your screen, those are the teams that are 0-2. Those are the teams that recognize that their games this weekend represent either stay alive, have a pulse, albeit a faint one, have a pulse, or your season has come to an end. And the one we're going to focus on after a very quick, a little Chuck Woolery, 2-2, 2-minute break, little 2-2, love connection style. The team that we're going to focus on is the team that I am actually rooting with hate in my heart. And I'm trying to fix that aspect of my personality. The Kansas City Chiefs, 0-2. The New York Giants, 0-2. Had victory stolen from them with Brandon Aubrey's 64-yard field goal last week. Which one of those teams wakes up on Monday after Sunday Night Football with their season a wrap? We'll get into that right after this. Good morning, everybody.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
51-0, Donnie.
Yeah.
Those numbers don't lie. Georgia, every time they rush for over 200 yards, that's dating back from 2017 against FCS and FBS opponents. They don't lose. The 2 years that they won back-to-back national championships, Year 1, they rushed for over 208 times. Year 2, when they beat TCU, that year they rushed for over 206 times.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Just to put a capper on last night's game and debacle for the Miami Dolphins. It's like a moral victory. Oh, they played a little bit better. Come on, you're 0-3. Mike McDaniel, by the way, since 2022, against winning teams. This is an indictment on Mike McDaniel as the wonderkin, head coach, the offensive guru. He's 3-14 against winning teams. 3 wins in 4 years against winning teams, and they beat up on bad teams. They're really the stereotypical or the poster child for being a bully.
Yeah, bully
because
front
you see
runner.
right there, against bad teams, they're 25-12. That's where they get all their wins. He's made the playoffs twice. We excuse the 30-0 game against Kansas City because of the weather, and we actually do excuse the other loss because they didn't have a starting quarterback for that game when they went to Orchard Park and lost to the Buffalo Bills, but damn near beat them there in January a couple years ago. But at the end of the day, the Mike McDaniel experiment is a wrap also. I know Steve Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, came out yesterday and said, I don't want to fire him. I don't. I like him. I think he's a competent coach. I don't want to fire him, but you force my hand, I might have to fire him. What I'm trying to figure out is why is he should be on the hot seat, but why is there a chance he gets fired, but there's not a chance that your GM gets fired? The GM's the guy that brings it all to town, makes the trades and signs the contract. And when I look at their schedule's interesting because the Jets are obviously a very winnable game for them.
Yeah.
Carolina sucks.
Right, it's very winnable.
So they could be 2-3.
Yep.
And kind of make everybody chill out a little bit when it comes to firing dudes. The other problem for them is you know who their backup quarterback is. Former Jet. Former Jets like going to Miami, by the way.
Well, why
to
wouldn't
play
you?
quarterback,
That's
right?
a long lineage.
Mike White went down there. Chad Pennington went down there.
New York
Now,
to Miami. How many New Yorkers have gone to Miami?
It's a thing.
To Florida.
It is a thing. It's a thing. You're right.
Yeah,
Actually, one of our producers already made plans to go down there for New Year's.
See, it's a
Little
thing.
does he know he's working on New Year's, but he's already made plans to go to. And it's usually, I'm going to Boca.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying it kind of fits.
Hey, that's where my people go.
A little bit. It fits. I've heard it.
That's where we go.
Many times.
We go to Boca. We go to Meisner Park. We die outside of Max's Grill. That's what we do. Yeah, so the Dolphin season came to an end. But I know there's people out there today. I saw Kurt Warner a few minutes ago extolling the virtues of Tua and why that last interception was not his fault. We don't have the right to show highlights, so I'll show it to you. It's 100% his fault. Game on the line, you're driving, chance to tie the game, or even possibly, maybe you go for 2 there.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to give the ball back to Josh Allen in a tie game. I want the lead.
Right.
I would have gone for 2.
And on the road.
Absolutely.
You don't want to go overtime
Season
on the road.
line,
Yeah.
I would have gone for 2. We never got the chance to see it.
Yeah.
But if you watch the play, Tua stares at his receiver the entire play. So there was never a thought of he might pivot and throw that way or throw that way. He stared this way
the whole time
and then threw it. And I think it was the linebacker or defensive back, whoever it was, who jumped the route. And that was like, I would have made that play as a defensive back because you told me exactly, and I have great hands, by the way. You told me exactly where you were throwing the football.
See, I think you would have not made the throw. I don't think you would have got interception, but maybe
either.
You bat it down.
I happen to have a gun for an arm.
You have a good arm.
I can throw 50 on the line. We all know this.
Good arm.
Although, quick story, I was on Fox Weather again yesterday, and there was a football we were messing around with. It was weird. The New York Post put out a tweet today that I was, they saw me like I was hiding at Fox Weather at the Fox Plaza on 48th and 6th in New York City. Go look at the New York Post Twitter account. They're like, caught on the scene, Craig Carton at Fox Weather. I'm like, yeah, I was on TV.
You go there often.
Hiding.
Right, you've been there multiple times.
Every week.
You go there all the time. Anyway, go ahead.
So I have a ball. So there's a dude on the street who recognized me. He's like, yo, CC, let me see your arm. That's all I got to hear. I rolled it up. I licked the fingers, little tack, right? I got the Duke in my hand. I go deep. So I throw the ball. Boom. Perfect spiral, right? Just like Sam Weiss taught me. Flick the booger off your finger. Perfect spiral. The ball spinning in midair, going right to the target. The random guy on the street puts his hands up. He's about to catch the spiral. There was a little blind spot on the street.
Okay.
Because cars double parked there, Uber drivers and the like. And what I didn't know is that there were people walking in the other direction.
Uh-oh.
So I throw perfect spiral. We're going to score the touchdown. It's going to be a great moment. And just as the ball's about to go in the hands of the receiver, there was a guy walking the other way on the phone. And the ball that I threw knocked the phone out of his hand onto the pavement in New York City. So he looks up. I immediately look to my left and I go, would you stop throwing the football around? You're going to hurt someone. But he knew that it came from me because I was
You're the only one out there.
the only guy there. So I go, my man, I'm really sorry. I hope your phone's all right.
Yeah.
And I can't do it on TV, but I got the bird and the FU.
Wow.
I got the
doubled up.
I got the
One would have
tip.
sufficed.
I got the
one
double
is plenty.
tip. So I do apologize to the man who I hit with a football on 48th and 6 yesterday. Bills 3-0, Dolphins 0-3. Jets coming up this weekend, trying to get off the schneid as well. We'll get to that a little later on. The team that we're going to focus on this segment and a little bit into the next one is obviously the Chiefs, because an argument can and should be made that the Kansas City Chiefs game against the winless New York Giants is the most important regular season game that the Chiefs have had in the Mahomes era.
Yes, it is.
Now, maybe you want to go back his first game as a starter.
Okay.
Big deal.
Okay.
Because we didn't know what he was going to be.
Right, he redshirted that first year.
Yeah, we kind of heard the legend of a lot of their practices and scout team stuff.
Right.
So maybe I could give you that. But since Mahomes became quarterback, it's been nothing but winning. This is the first time that they've lost 3 consecutive games, and that's over 2 seasons.
Right.
It's the Super Bowl last year, of course, and then the 2 games this year. So they're in uncharted territories. So an argument should be made, I'm making it, this is the most important regular season games in Patrick Mahomes' career in Kansas City. And they're playing against a team, the New York Giants, that I think we all agree the Chiefs are better than the Giants. I think there's an expectation globally that the Chiefs will get off the schneid here and get their first win. But I would caution you. Because although they have not played great yet, and certainly have not lived up to the billing where I thought they'd be preseason, the strength of the Giants is the defensive line. I know you got a lot of guys that play the same position, and they may move Abdul Carter into more of a micro role and get him on different spots on the line, and he has not been great 2 games in. But coming up after a very quick break, the Kansas City Chiefs should not take the New York Giants lightly. We'll get into more in depth as to why. I appreciate you watching the Craig Carton Show on SportsGrid, by the way.
Credit to the Giants, who were so good in April and then since then just kind of fell apart. Now they're back in it again. I think the Mets will get in, but it is fascinating that they'll play the Marlins here the last 3 games of the season. And I know without a doubt that the Marlins are going to line up Sandy Alcantara, Yuri Perez, and top guys to try and beat the Mets.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
It is the biggest story in sports. It is the ability to predict outcomes in sports without calling it sports betting. But I guess Massachusetts doesn't like it very much, and they're saying basically you can't operate in our market without having a license like FanDuel and DraftKings. And they're coming at this company, Robinhood, who you may be familiar with. Robinhood right now says, hey, we should be able to operate just like these other companies.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
He says, you can't get in a position, Tiger, Rory, Justin Thomas, those guys are this tall. You're never gonna be as flexible as them. You got a lot more leverage and you got a lot of more moving parts than those dudes.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I like the shadows coming in, Neyland Stadium. Show me those 3:30. Back in the day,
we played all our games on Saturdays. Maybe 1 or 2 games on a Friday night away. I always loved that. Same thing in college. Hated Friday night football games in college.
I don't like. I understand why they do it prime time, and we have to play. But going back to when we grew up, Keith Jackson.
Yeah.
Action.
Throw another pancake on that plate. Yeah, let's go, Keith Jackson. That's my guy here.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. We'll get to the tush push coming up in just a bit. But the most important, the biggest regular season game in Patrick Mahomes' career as starting quarterback. And I could make and maybe I will, make a really good argument that this is a tough game for Kansas City. That if you think you're showing up on the road against the New York Giants and just rolling the ball out there and winning like you have done in the past, the teams that we know talent-wise you are better than, I'm telling you, I'm convincing myself the Giants are going to win this game for a couple of reasons. Number one, I saw Giants offense come to life against the Dallas Cowboys. And the reason I bring that up is because while Dallas lost week 1, all right, to the Philadelphia Eagles, and I know the Eagles offense hasn't clicked just yet. They've not been a very productive offense statistically just yet. But the Cowboys defense essentially shut them out in the second half, week 1. They only give up a field goal in the third quarter. All right, that's number one. Number two, the Giants offense looked like it figured out how to play football last week against the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yep, they pushed the ball downfield a lot. They were able to with good success.
While the Dallas Cowboys should not be the barometer of what a good offense is yet, or defense rather, pardon me, what's interesting is that the Cowboys defense shut down the Eagles offense in that second half.
Yeah.
They were not able to do that against the New York Giants. So for all of us, myself included, who thought the New York Giants offense was going to stink, I just saw them put 40 points on the board in a regular season NFL game against a team that held the Eagles' offense to 3 points in the second half. So maybe the Giants offense has figured out how to play good football. Not saying they're putting 40 on the board, but they're competent, right? The strength of the Giants' entire team, to me, has got to be that defensive line.
It must be, or
it
they can't win.
has to be.
Yeah, it must be.
If those guys don't get to the quarterback or do a good job against the run, then the Giants can't win.
No chance.
Well, what do we know about Kansas City thus far this year? They still don't throw the ball very well deep.
Nope.
I know he connected on Thornton the second time.
That was a busted coverage I found
week.
out, too. Looked at the all 22. There was a busted coverage there. So they didn't earn that. It was the Eagles' mistake.
Fair enough, and I accept that. Yeah. So they're not a prolific offense.
No, not at all.
Even with Mahomes. They don't throw the ball down the field very well. They don't run the ball either very well or a lot.
Nope.
Patrick Mahomes is their leading rusher right now, 2 games into the season.
He is.
Travis Kelce is largely a non-factor. I know he had the touchdown week 1 in Brazil, but he has, 6 catches on the year, right? Yeah. Only had 4 catches last week and had the huge drop at the goal line that I think cost the Chiefs the game. So outside of saying, well, Patrick Mahomes will be Patrick Mahomes, which is fair. I accept that because he is Superman. He does stuff nobody else can do. But if that's what they need to win every week, then it's going to be a long season. And let's not forget, you saw the schedule up there a second ago. They have the Baltimore Ravens next.
Yep.
If they weren't 0-2, we would all tell you that this is what we call a look-ahead game.
Yep.
Or you want to call it a trap game.
Yep.
Where you've got a perennial competitor and a playoff competitor and arguably the best team in football. We could talk Green Bay, Philly, and Buffalo as well, but Baltimore's in that conversation, right? So this would be a game normally we say, be careful betting on Kansas City because it's a trap game.
Big time.
Right?
Big time.
Now, the fact that they're 0-2, I think, lessens that a little bit because now it's a must-win game for them. Yeah. So Baltimore should not be on their minds. But I guarantee you that when the schedule came out, they had that Baltimore game circled and were totally minimizing and pushing to the side the threat of the Giants.
They were.
Which means this is a spot where the Giants can get right. This is a spot because of the pressure, and pressure is real. The Kansas City Chiefs know if we don't beat the Giants, our season just came to an end. Period. Stop. You can't worry about Baltimore next week when you go into the Meadowlands or MetLife Stadium to play the New York Giants. The spread's a little wacky to me, and I don't gamble. You would think the Chiefs are favored by 10. They're the dominant Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm telling you now, and forget about the spread for a second because I don't gamble. If you wanted to find a great home underdog that can pull off the upset this week, and I can't believe I'm saying it because I don't think the Giants were going to be very good, it's the New York Giants.
Wow.
It's the New York Giants, and I'm here for all of it. I'm here for every bit of it. Russell Wilson's coming off the best regular season game, arguably of his career, threw for more than 400 yards last week against Dallas. And what did we learn about the Chiefs? although the Eagles didn't do it very well, you can throw against Kansas City. If I'm Russell Wilson, I'm looking at another 4-pound bag against Kansas City this week, just like I got last week against the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm going to sit there with my popcorn, my wings, my barbecue sauce, and my Grand Marnier, and I'm all about the New York Giants this week and watching Kansas City fans panic after starting the season 0-3. It's coming. It's coming.
They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point.
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
NFL season with about 750,000 downloads. Really interesting when you look at the third and the fourth spot. You have Bet365 and Fanatics, which were, again, that first week, they were the only sports books that grew. The good news for the other sports books in terms of downloads this week is even when you take out Fanatics and Bet365, app downloads still grew about 20% across the board overall.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left, Donnie, for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Every now and then I get a little jealous of pro athletes, Tyrone. I have to be honest about it.
Well, why?
I'm looking at a picture right now that my guy, Jalen Brunson, was at Madison Square Garden last night at the Dua Lipa concert.
Oh.
And got a picture right up close next to Dua Lipa. And I got to tell you, you know who looks absolutely breathtakingly fantastic in that picture?
Who's that?
Jalen Brunson. That's right. That's right. Looks like he's already in midseason form.
He's already
fantastic.
Looking ready to go.
And here's what's interesting. It's Jalen Brunson and his wife in a picture with Dua Lipa, and I don't know the gentleman on the left side of Dua Lipa there.
Okay.
This is one of those marital situations. Who stands next to Dua Lipa? For instance, if you and your beautiful wife, whoever female, let's say you're a Sabrina Carpenter fan, but let's just use Dua Lipa.
Yeah, Dua Lipa's
You
fine.
and your wife are backstage at the Dua Lipa concert, and you're going to take a photo. Who's standing next to Dua Lipa?
I am.
Your wife's okay with that?
She has no
There's
choice.
not a switcheroo there?
Nah, she'd be okay with it.
See, it's funny you say that. My wife and I got to meet Rihanna backstage when she played the Garden years ago, and she was opening for Kanye.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We
understand the timing and stuff.
It was pre the Nazi stuff.
And pre-slavery was a choice and all that stuff. Yeah, we got
it. It was like prime Kanye.
Yeah. When you really wanted to. When everyone wanted to go. When everybody wanted to go.
And Rihanna opened for him.
Right.
All right? So I remember we go backstage in the Garden to meet Rihanna, and that thought goes through your head because she's beautiful and sexy. Who stands next to Rihanna? Me or my wife?
Yeah.
You know the answer was? Boomer Esiason.
Oh.
He bogarted right into that picture.
That's no good. That's not right.
Pushed us both to the side and said, shoot away, click away.
She had a meet and greet. I was talking to the producers about this. She had a meet and greet the other day. I was tempted to leave.
Who did, Rihanna?
Dua Lipa did.
Oh, Dua Lipa,
Going back to, I was going to say, I could have
For the show's sake, you should have did it.
I'll go by there. All you had to do was have an American Express card and stand in line.
Oh, I guess. Well, then I'd be I'd be out of luck on that one. Still having trouble getting that old credit card.
Honestly, I didn't know that. I had Amex in my wallet. I figured I could wait in line to see do a looping real quick.
Obviously, as we get ready for Week 3 of the NFL, and we get ready for the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, who them and the Green Bay Packers, clearly the teams to beat right now in the NFL. Two things came out, and I find them. I didn't lose sleep over them, but I find them troubling. So the first thing that came out, according to NFL insiders, is that the NFL has apparently instructed the officials for this week, I guess for the rest of the season also. They play the Rams, by the way, which should be a great game off of last year's playoff game.
1 o'clock
Which
Sunday,
another 30 seconds on the clock. Maybe the Rams even beat Philly.
Maybe.
At the link. So this should be a great game, one of the biggest games of the week. But they've told the officials, apparently, that they need to really be on top of any potential offsides.
Yep.
You see, there's the tweet right there. Any potential offsides from Philadelphia.
And they sent it to all the teams, too, in addition to the officials. Yeah.
To me, that's hogwash to me.
I agree.
Because if you have an issue with the tush push, you had the ability to get rid of it this past offseason, and the owners voted it in. They did not outlaw it.
They could have.
So when you reach out and you tell all the teams in the league and the officials that we're going to be much more stringent and pay closer attention, well, that's not fair to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Not at all.
The fact that the officials clearly missed a couple of false starts, and they did. No one's even disputing it. The Eagles are telling you, not our fault.
Right.
They also missed the Chiefs lining up in the neutral zone.
That hasn't come up all week except from you.
Right.
Except you.
No
one
one's
else is
talking about the fact that they could have thrown a flag against Kansas City there and given the Eagles a first down. So from that standpoint, what's interesting is that we always sit here and say, all of us collectively, no matter who you root for, we don't want the officials to determine the outcome of a game. That is a universal thought. We've all said it. We've all been victimized by it as fans, but we all steadfastly agree, let the players decide the outcome of games.
Absolutely.
Unless it's something egregious where you have no choice, you got to throw the flag. Fair?
Right.
So what's funny is that everyone's like, yeah, that's right, NFL. You got to stop the Eagles. You have to over-officiate. But we've always said less officiating, not more officiating.
Right.
And what's not fair about it is that the Eagles do it. Every team has tried it. Very few teams have the level of success that Philly has, whatever the reason is. The squats, the ass, the thighs, the offensive line.
Whatever it is.
I don't care why. They've come up with a play that's legal, and they do it better than anybody at a plus 90% rate. Nobody can stop it. So now we've got to do what? We didn't outlaw it. We had a chance to. So now we're going to tell Philadelphia, hey, listen, if you run the tush push, I guarantee this, by the way. They are telling Philly right now, and all Eagles fans, and for this week, Rams fans, I guess, that we are going to throw a flag on the tush push.
Yeah.
And that's a de facto way of outlawing it. And I guarantee you, I'll be shocked if I'm wrong, that if the Eagles are in a position this week to run the tush push, whether it's once, twice, or 7 times, I will guarantee you that a flag is thrown.
Absolutely.
Because the NFL owners said, no, it was a close vote, by the way, but we're not going to outlaw it. The NFL is going to outlaw it without actually outlawing it by penalizing Philadelphia. And typically, when they run it, it's in a big spot because it's either 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1,
right.
And it keeps the drive alive, which is significant. I hope I'm wrong. I know I'm not going to be wrong. But we have to stop this nonsense of they do it better than anyone else, so we have to help other teams out. And the fact that you would reach out to the other teams and the officials and tell the officials, they meet with the league every week, the officials do, and you're now telling the officials, pay closer attention to how the Eagles line up or how they snap the ball and where they are. It's not right. It's not. And I can't stand Philly, but it's not right.
It's actually even worse. They even pointed out a holding call on left tackle Jordan Mailata. There's holding calls on a bunch of plays. Sure. Why would you go point that out?
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that bothers me.
Let me say it's that. Because everyone's complaining about it outside of Philly, and it's getting old to me. Look, I don't like Philly. Everyone knows that. But I respect Philly. I respect the fact that they tell you it's very similar, for example, to the 1980s Washington Redskins at the time, as they were called.
With the Hogs.
When they had the offensive line known as the Hogs, yes. Yeah. And they ran a play called counter Trey. And all that was we're handing the ball off to John Riggins. He's going to take one step left and then run to his right. Yeah. Right? We're telling you we're doing it. If you can stop it, good for you. But our offensive line is so damn good. We know you can. So that's all we're going to do. It'd be like outlawing that.
Right.
Now go ahead.
And in addition to that, the Chargers voted against it. They were on their own 1 yard line, pinned back. And what do they run? The play they wanted banned.
Yeah.
Just this past week.
Because it works.
And then they run it, even though they just wanted it gone just a couple of months ago. And are they going to overly officiate if they go to do that again?
No.
Of course not. Only the Eagles.
Yeah, well, it's not, but it's not even a Philly thing. It's just that they're the team that does it every game repeatedly, and nobody has figured out how to stop it. So if I'm Philly, first time I got 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, I get right to the tush push. I go into it. Now, they've run a couple fakes off of it last year where they fake it, they come out wide to the left, there's no one there, and maybe they gain 20, 30 yards.
Yeah, pitch to Saquon.
But it's like, can we grow up? Can we fight back? Can we stop bitching and complaining? You know, and I don't want to hear it from Kansas City. You've gotten more calls than anyone. I don't want to hear Tom Brady talking about it. Tom Brady got more calls. Look, your first Super Bowl, by the way, was because of the tuck rule.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So, you know, the referees have favored you your entire career. Yeah. So it's always rich to me when guys that benefited or franchises that benefited from bad officiating now complain about the officials, which is why guys like me, losers like me, who has a team that they root for that have never gotten a call or the benefit of a call, we're the ones that are allowed to complain about officiating.
That's right.
But I can't wait to watch this game. We'll give a pick on the game a little bit later on. Eagles are favored by 3 or so, right?
3.5.
But this is the team that was 30 seconds away in the snow in Philly of beating Philly and advancing to a Super Bowl. So do not sleep on the Rams' ability in good weather, obviously, to go to Philly and to take care of business. We got a whole bunch of sports news and notes coming your way to get you all repped up for the rest of your day. We want to make sure that when you talk to your buddies at the cubicle at work, you know more than they do. Stories you don't know next, right here on the Craig Carton Show.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
51-0, Donnie.
Yeah.
Those numbers don't lie. Georgia, every time they rush for over 200 yards, that's dating back from 2017 against FCS and FBS opponents. They don't lose. The 2 years that they won back-to-back national championships, year one, they rushed for over 208 times. Year two, when they beat TCU, that year they rushed for over 206 times.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here as well. We'll get some of his picks coming up before we get out of here. Some random news and notes from around sports. I don't know if you guys picked up on this last night. And I know that downstairs, they don't know I'm going to do this, so I apologize for that. But did you happen to catch on the Amazon broadcast last night when they were talking about Tyreek Hill?
Oh, yeah. I caught it out of nowhere.
I have, in my lifetime, and I'm not saying they're wrong,
right?
But in my lifetime, I've never seen this before. So Tyreek Hill has a touchdown.
Yep.
I had a couple catches on that touchdown drive, all good. And then I forget the gal, the sideline reporter who's reporting this. They go out of their way to tell the American audience, don't forget, Tyreek Hill has been accused of beating the crap out of his wife at the time.
Yeah, 8 times.
8 times.
Yeah.
And I'm watching, I'm what? I'm sorry?
Right.
Like, it was like, I get it. We report everything. It was a story this week, and it's a storyline about his availability. Report it. Oh, I get it. And I'm not against that. But it seems so strange, like talking about the future of Tyreek in Miami. Obviously, I'm telling you that he can't be traded because of his cap number. That's all. But it was glaring.
It was glaring.
It was like, Tyreek Hill with the catch, jukes at the 10, tackled down to the 8. That's a 17-yard gain for Hill. First down, Miami. I just wanted to mention to you, Al, that Tyreek Hill is accused of beating his wife 8 times during the course of their short marriage. Now back to you.
Yes.
It was like so weird.
It's exactly how it happened. And they cut to him on the sideline. Yeah. And I'm all for it. Like, if you told me he's out of the league for that, I would say, okay, it's not the best.
Or if he was suspended for the game.
Whatever it is.
Or if it had been adjudicated, found guilty.
Absolutely.
Or even the flip side. Hey, the woman made it up. Let's exonerate her.
Right.
But it was like, listen to those old-time baseball announcers.
Yeah.
Here's a ground ball to short. Wilson's got it over to first. I put out some hemorrhoid cream this morning to take care of an itch out in the backside. Yeah. Here's the one known how to judge. It's like, it was so weird because it was like Tom Brenneman.
Yeah, Tom Brenneman.
I just want to apologize to
the slurs he had said.
To the gay community for there goes Castellanos.
It just goes back like.
It was like Tua looking. He's got Hill. Hill makes a man miss, tackled out of bounds for a 9-yard gain. Yesterday, I wanted to remind you that Hill was accused of beating his wife 8 times over the course of their 6 months. It was like, what?
Back to you. It was.
So I was not the only one that found that.
It was jarring.
Jarring?
It was jarring.
Right?
Yeah.
And by the way, I think the woman deserves her day in court to prove these allegations.
Absolutely.
His ex-wife. And he deserves that day in court to prove his innocence.
Yes.
But when you just put the story out there, and by the way, 3rd and 7 for Miami now. And I should mention to you, Tyreek Hill has been accused of beating his child's mom. There's no end to the story.
That was it.
It's like, okay. Like, now, you and I as diehard fans, we're already aware of that.
Right.
The average fan might not be aware of it. So it's like, can you put a capper on it?
Right.
Like, are they divorced? Are they together? Is there a restraining order? What did he say about it? It was very, very strange. What's the gal's name again, guys? I can't. Kaylee Hartung?
Hartung.
I don't know.
Hartung, yeah.
And I'm not saying, I don't want to be clear. Yeah. I'm not saying don't report it either.
Right.
But the way it was reported, and then you're right. Then they just go to a close-up of Tyreek,
just on the sideline, standing there doing nothing. Doing nothing.
He's sideline.
Just doing nothing.
All right, that's how we start news and notes today. I tell my boys all the time as they grow up and hit their teen years, now 20s, just to be careful because there's a certain part of the female anatomy that is undefeated.
It will never lose.
Undefeated, has never lost. All-time greatest winner of all time.
Lose.
And just to prove that to my boys, there's a very attractive, I don't know if she's a model or an actress.
She's a model. She's been in Sports Illustrated and all the runway shows.
I'm not quite familiar with her, but they're a very attractive gal. If that does it for you, and that's not for everyone, of course.
Yeah, some people wouldn't like that, I guess.
Her name is Brooks Nader.
Yes.
So the U.S. Open ended a couple weeks ago. And the 2 best tennis players in the world are a dude named Alcaraz and a dude named Sinner.
Yes.
I don't claim to follow it that closely because I'm a Jimmy Connors guy.
A Spaniard and an Italian.
Great. What happened to American tennis players? Maybe that's a show for another day.
Yes.
But it turns out she came out publicly.
Yeah.
And both guys have confirmed they were aware of it. She has been sleeping with both guys.
Yeah.
And during the U.S. Open, where they faced off in the final, which I think they've done in like every final and every tournament.
The last 3 in a row of the majors.
So they're the best players. They're in the finals of like every big tournament.
Number 1 and number 2 in the world.
She's banging both of them at the same time.
Same time.
Which just proves the point I tell my boys all the time. It's undefeated.
It's undefeated.
The question, though, is whichever guy won the U.S. Open, Alcaraz?
Alcaraz won this time.
Did he get her that night?
See, I don't know.
You have to assume.
And the tournament's only 2 weeks. How much time did she have? Like, they have to practice, they have to play. They played all the way to the final.
Yeah.
How much time did they have?
And I was always told, and maybe this is one of those urban myths that parents tell their kids, like, you have to wait 20 minutes after eating to swim.
Yeah, that's not true.
Which
that's not true. It's completely not true.
But we were always told that.
Oh, yeah, same thing with you can't have the dome light in the car. It's illegal. Yeah. Completely not true. You can have the light on.
Our parents have been lying to us
Just lying.
for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But one of those urban myths was that the athletes, high-level pro athletes,
women, weekend legs,
world-class athletes, don't have sex like before a big fight, before a big soccer match, because sex takes energy out of your legs.
Yeah, weak as legs.
Complete nonsense.
Nonsense.
She's banging both guys. They both made it to the finals.
And they were steamrolling everybody else. They steamrolled everybody else. Nobody could touch these guys.
I remember when I used to do a show on the Spike Network called MMA Uncensored Live.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
There you go. It's still to this day the most watched live MMA show of all time. Thank you very much.
Well, there you go. Congratulations.
Who is the female fighter? Ronda Rousey.
At the time,
So I had Ronda Rousey on, and I asked her about, do you have sex before a big fight?
Yeah.
Because for men, the answer is you're not supposed to. She goes, actually, they encourage it for women because sex actually raises the testosterone level in women naturally. So she goes, the week before a fight, I'm like a bunny rabbit.
Oh. So look at that.
So there's a factoid you probably didn't know before today. And I'll give you the final news to note. You know, I have a son who plays college football, and unfortunately he's had a couple injuries, so he has a couple years of eligibility still left. He's a junior right now out there at Grinnell in Iowa.
Get well soon.
And I sent him the story I saw yesterday. There's a guy who is playing college football right now, Division 2 or 3, I forget what it is. He is 58 years old.
Wow.
But the best part of the story is what they say, why he didn't play out of high school or in high school. He left high school, their words, not mine, to do drugs.
Well,
and that's in the story. They're like,
insane.
Billy was a great athlete.
Yeah.
He left high school to do drugs. Now that he's 58, he's done doing drugs, so he's going to play college football. 4 years of eligibility left. I love it. Those are your news and notes. Picks coming up after this.
They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point.
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Like, because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And like, some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. Like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
NFL season with about 750,000 downloads. Really interesting when you look at the third and the fourth spot. You have Bet365 and Fanatics, which were, again, that first week, they were the only sports books that grew. The good news for the other sports books in terms of downloads this week is even when you take out Fanatics and Bet365, app downloads still grew about 20% across the board overall.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left on it for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back. Final segment here, Craig Carton Show. You can also see everything if you missed it on YouTube at 1 o'clock. It goes up on YouTube, but it's live every day on SportsGrid. So definitely check out SportsGrid. Download the SportsGrid app, or you can obviously watch it through X as well. Look, there's some great games. Monday night we get Lions-Ravens. We'll deal with that on Monday. Cowboys-Bears, huge game for Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. And the flip side is the Dallas Cowboys win that game on the road, and they're slight favorites. Then I think you can start talking about the Dallas Cowboys as maybe a wild card team.
Yeah.
But it changes the narrative, I think, on the Cowboys if they win. That's the late game on Fox.
And a lot of injuries in Washington, too, which could help Dallas.
Yes.
Jake Daniels most likely going to miss this Sunday.
And their offense wasn't great thus far with him.
And not practicing today. He's likely out Sunday.
And obviously the big game is Rams and Eagles. So 3 or 4 really, really good games. And then you have a bunch of 2-0 teams, 0-2 teams. We'll get to all of them. But Tyrone, what's your record thus far?
I am now 4-2 this season.
Let's keep track of that, guys, so he doesn't lie to us.
5-2.
You said 4, so we'll make it 4.
I'm 5-2.
5-2. We're accepting 5-2. Yeah. All right. Game 1 for you is what? Go ahead.
College game. Georgia Tech comes off a big, big emotional win. They're playing Temple. I have Temple plus the 22.5. Georgia Tech's going to win the game, but Temple's going to cover. These are young kids, Craig. Emotion matters in college. These aren't professionals.
We even have a graphic for it.
Yes, of course.
We're putting out that kind of garbage with a graphic.
It looks great.
You can't name a single player on either team. You can't pick Temple in a football game. Temple don't play football.
They do. They already played Oklahoma, so they had a tough schedule so far this year. See, you didn't know. I knew they already played Oklahoma. You don't know I check in on Temple. I'm a real sportsman from way back.
That's my guy.
All right. Next pick. I'm going to pick him out against the Browns a lot. But
is John Chaney still coaching the Temple football team?
No, he was the basketball. And you got me in a lot of trouble the first time I ever worked with you over John Chaney. I'll say that off the air. I like the Packers minus 7.5 against the Browns this week. I think the Packers arguably are the best team in football, as you said. I think they're going to win by double digits. I like them on the road.
Yeah, the Browns, look, their defense has played really, really well.
Especially against the run.
An argument could be made the Browns should be 2-0.
Yes.
They're 0-2. Myles Garrett's already fed up, but look, you took the money to stay there.
You wanted it.
And the Packers thus far have played the most consistent football.
Right.
They've been great thus far. Look, they're going to win. I'm not a big fan of, in that world of putting out a lot of points, but I got you, and they're the better team. Go ahead.
Yes, and then the last one, and you're not going to like it.
By the way, let me just say, if you are gambling, please do it responsibly.
Yes.
If you have picks set up, that's fine. Bet them. If you lose, don't panic and start chasing your money with bad money. Live to fight another day. You are not going to win all the games you pick.
You are absolutely not going to. And this one, I do think the game's going to be close. I actually agree with basically everything you said about this game.
Which game?
But because they're desperate, I like the Chiefs minus 5.5 at the Giants this week.
I don't hate it. I mean,
the
world's going to be on Kansas City because he's never lost 4 games in a row. We understand the season's on the line. I started the show by telling you they call modern day football 1990 and on. I didn't come up with that. I Googled
Makes sense.
All right?
Makes sense.
So you're talking 35 years of football.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good amount of time. In 35 years, only 4 teams have ever started 0-3 and then made the playoffs. There were 2 wild card teams, 2 actually were division winners.
Mm-hmm.
None of those 4 teams ever made it to or won a Super Bowl. And I'm not saying those years have anything to do with this year, but it's a good enough stat.
It is.
And a good enough amount of time for us to say, if you go to 0-3, your season is over.
Right.
That's what Kansas City's facing. The interesting thing here is that the Giants are facing the same thing.
They are.
They're just as desperate. They're home, not that means all that much, at MetLife Stadium, because since they built it, the Giants are under 500 there, and so are the Jets.
Yeah.
So say what you want about that. But I'm trying to figure out, is the Giants' offense similar to what I saw last week against the Dallas Cowboys, or is that an anomaly and it's the Cowboys' defense that just stunk? And the reason I say that is the Cowboys' defense essentially shut out the Eagles in week 1.
There was a lightning
only
delay.
Gave up a field goal.
There was a lightning delay, though. I think that they didn't punt before the lightning delay.
That's fair.
They had scored every time before that. And I think the one part that didn't get mentioned, Andy Reid, I'm not saying he's a perfect coach, but he's a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
I think the coaching advantage can really show up this week.
Well, listen, whoever you take, I do hope you win. I can't wait to watch your Eagles play the Rams as well.
It's going to be a great game.
I, of course, have the New York Jets trying to go off the schneid as well, sitting there at 0-2. I can tell you now for the Jets, even if they win the game, we're not winning the Super Bowl. So I know that. And before I leave you today, I want to leave you with a quick video. Your wife or for ladies watching, your husband might say to you, honey, I got a great idea for the weekend. Let's go axe throwing. It's a big thing now.
I go to a place called Pickaxe.
Yeah, this is why you shouldn't go axe throwing. Men, by the way, men and women alike. Because if you don't have the reflexes to duck it, it was nice knowing you.
That's a good catch.
And I know it's a growing thing. Bars have it now.
Oh, yeah.
Outdoor bars have it. But this is proof that axe throwing is not an event you and your buddies or you and your wife should ever do if you want to see tomorrow.
That's right.
Appreciate you watching. Please subscribe on YouTube and download the SportsGrid app. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday at 11 right here on the Craig Carton Show.